Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to episode 70 of the Gut Wrench podcast. My name, despite popular belief, is not Coco. It is, in fact, Mocha. And, seeing as though that, Brandon, if that is his real name, over at the Early Morning Podcast, over at Early Morning Pod, is going to talk about the Clash of Champions pay-per-view from 2016. I think it would be fitting for me to look at what some would believe to be somewhat of the exact opposite, if not, the equivalent. Seeing as though that he's looking at WWE, I thought it would be fun to look at actual award-winning wrestling over at AEW, which always lives up to its name, by the way, All Elite Wrestling. Now, the chicanery, the fuckery, the tomfoolery that they are doing over in WWE right now involves making a autistic child, such as Sami Zayn, their number one contender, despite the fact that he's done nothing to earn it and he doesn't deserve it. Understand something, ladies and gentlemen. Wrestling is more than just a popularity contest. It's more than just, oh, I like this guy, so he deserves a championship opportunity. I talked to Brandon before, okay? I've talked to him on some occasions, and, we're throwing words at each other, and, we're kind of going back and forth, yeah, your mom, no, your mom, no, your podcast is your mom, We're going back and forth with it a little bit, and we'll get into the your mom here in just a minute. I've got some your mama jokes written down, and I think that he's going to enjoy them. My point, of course, is that wrestling is not just a popularity contest. It is more than that. And whenever you think about the fact that some people deserve and some people have earned opportunities whenever it comes to certain, think about your management position, If you were a manager at a Walmart, you notice that someone has been working somewhat harder, he's been improving, they've been showing up in dress clothes a little bit more, they've been smelling good lately, maybe I should give that person a shot. Maybe I should just, roll with it, despite what my inner instincts tell me. No. Sam Walton, who actually founded Walmart, he himself didn't think that it would grow to be the corporate giant that it is today, but Sam Walton once said to, quote, go against the conventional wisdom. And what is the conventional wisdom in professional wrestling? What exactly is it that Sami Zayn has? What is it that he has that makes you, Brandon, and for that matter, all of your fucking viewers, all of your fucking listeners, what is it that makes them think, oh, Sami Zayn, of course, I should have sucked his dick a long time ago. Why didn't I think of that before? Because it pisses me off to no regard to know the fact that you are promoting cancer in professional wrestling, something that I have a passion for. If Sami Zayn is a cancer, then that means that I am the cure. If Kevin Owens is a disease, and we won't mention what disease he is, even though I've called him existentially Cancer Owens. If Kevin Owens is a disease, then that means that I am the cure. Because if I'm the only one who can see through the chicanery, the pure shit that they're spewing, then it seems like I am the cure. I've literally never met another person. Allow me to say that again. Never have I met another person that I have not influenced myself who doesn't know who Kevin Owens is tell me that they hate Kevin Owens, that they can't stand Kevin Steen. Or sometimes we'll get into talking about, their favorite wrestlers, and they'll do it like this, and it's usually just a casual conversation, and it'll be something like this. Oh, who's your favorite wrestler? And then they'll be like, oh, I used to like Vader and Dr. Death, and really like Steve Austin growing up, and really liked Flying Brian, and The Undertaker was really good, and then I got into watching Sting, and, it's almost like they're going off of a top 10 of their favorite wrestlers of all time. Eventually, they get to the modern day people, and then they're like, yeah, and I really like what Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are doing today. And, that's kind of where I end the conversation. I walk away. Because people like that are toxic. People like that are not anyone they're not intellectuals, they're not someone who you would want to have a conversation with. They're probably missing all of their teeth, and they probably smell really bad. Brandon, you're from Kentucky. You probably eat nothing but fried chicken. Why didn't I think about that before? You have to be related to the Colonel. And he didn't even go to the military. But somehow, people still call him the Colonel. The Colonel of fried chicken. Can you believe this? Oh my God, I can't stand it. Meanwhile, here in West Virginia, do you want to know what we're famous for? A song written by a man named John Denver. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. Has anyone ever wrote a passionate song about Kentucky? Other than, in Kentucky, I fucked my sister. Meanwhile, I also have a lot of, Yo Mama jokes written down. Your mama's so fat, she created the Grand Canyon. And I know what you're thinking. It's a little harsh, I'm sorry. Your mama's so fat. She woke up, or rather, she wakes up in sections. Your mama's so fat, they had to take her baby pictures via satellite. Your mama's so fat, before God could say, let there be light, he had to ask your mom to move first. I'm sorry, Brandon. Am I striking a nerve? Because you brought this onto yourself, if I remember correctly. Because you decided that it was a good idea to hijack my show. And I wasn't going to take you seriously. I was just going to be like, shit. I mean, I get picked on all the time by people like this. Sami Zayn fans do not have a place to make fun of elite professional wrestlers. Or for that matter, elite professional wrestling fans. People who have read books, people who are right now writing a book. And spoiler, Brandon, for you, the first thing that I was going to say on this podcast whenever I opened it wasn't to make your mama jokes toward you. But rather I was going to tell my audience that recently I will be making a clothing brand line That's right. You heard me correctly. I'm going to take this podcast. I'm going to take it to the next level. And it's not just going to be a little ha 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 ha. I showed you that shirt that said, "Don't be a Sami Zayn fan. Follow at P1_babe on Twitter." No, it's going to be more than that. This is called the Red Rose clothing line. Or the Red Rose apparel line, rather. Not that you would know anything about apparel. I'm sure that you still wear, for a t-shirt, what is it that they used to wear in the Old West? Those poor people. What was it, like a wheelbarrow with straps? I mean, I'm drawing a blank here, but I've seen it on cartoons plenty of times. I mean, shit. But over there at the Early Morning Wrestling Podcast, he's looking at the Clash of Champions from 2016, a show that's not even worth my time. So, because the main event is Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. Who would ever tune in to something like that? Why would you ever spend your money on garbage like that? Over there at the Dogwater Podcast, he's going to be discussing stuff like this. And yes, I am somewhat being a heel here, and I don't appreciate the fact that I was supposed to be the baby face, like the victim of this common crusade where you decided that it was a good idea to pick on me and expect me not to say anything back. As it pertains to podcasting, or for that matter, professional wrestling, the Red Rose clothing line will have nothing to do with that. The Red Rose apparel line, I probably wouldn't even slap a wrestling logo on it. It'll just have a few amateurish designs that I've made. And Brandon listened to your show. I did. I went ahead and listened to it. I thought about hiring someone to listen to it for me and just give me the footnotes, but nah, it'd just be a waste of money. I listened to your show, and I couldn't help but at the home stretch, the last 5 or 6 minutes, you told me that you, quote, wanted me to quit. Just hang up my boots, just give it up already. And then, about 40 seconds after that, you ended up putting your foot in your mouth and saying, "How about you try a little bit harder?" And then saying, "I don't want you to quit." So which is it? Do you want me to hang up my boots? Do you want me to just throw my laptop into a river? Just give up? Or do you want me to turn up the heat to an 11? Do you want me to constantly berate you for having a child and staying up all night and drinking and vaping and deciding that it's a great idea to berate me for having passion for this business? Because the way I see it, you're on the same level as someone who's as inconsistent not only as Kevin Owens, but also as Jim Cornette. Cornette, who frequently shows up on his own podcast, and in maybe 5 weeks ago, he said something like, "I like Kenny Omega." And then 5 weeks later, I guess Kenny Omega owes him $20, and he's like, "I hate Kenny Omega." He needs to find some sort of common ground as to who he hates and who he likes. Also, on Jim Cornette's podcast, not to plug his dog shit of a show anymore, the Dogwater Podcast, he finds it funny to somehow make fun of Johnny Gargano, despite the fact that Gargano is a elite athlete who I've looked at I won't say all of, but shit. I've looked at most of his 5-star. Matter of fact, Gargano has 2 5-star ratings under my umbrella that I'm aware of. One where he fought Adam Cole in a 3 Stages of Hell match, and one where he fought Ciampa, Tommaso Ciampa, in a street fight match. Could have been a 2 out of 3 falls match. But I remember it was a street fight. No, the 3 stages of hell. That was a 2 out of 3 falls match. But because it had 3, we haven't done a 3 stages of hell in a long time, as far as wrestling goes. Anyway, I'm going to take a deep breath here, and primarily what I wanted to do was watch the episode of Rampage 1/6/23, January 6th of 2023, but I couldn't get that to download onto my podcast in time. That's why this is out late. I was trying to wait for it to download, but it keeps telling me that it's going to take 23 minutes, but it's taken more than 23 minutes. It's slowly downloading, and then the timer that's over in the corner that tells me like my bandwidth, like how long how long like it's loading, and then it's going to tell me, oh, we're going to get there. God damn it. I just wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch the episode before the show that we will be watching today, which I still haven't preferenced with a name. I just said, hey, we're going to watch AEW. It's Battle of the Belts 5, which happened earlier on this year. This is their 5th iteration of Battle of the Belts, and I was disappointed because it only has 3 matches. All 3 are championship matches. There are some segments that I didn't write down. I didn't bother to write down. Because they really didn't seem like they were anything worth really paying attention to. One thing that I do enjoy about AEW is that they don't conform to the chicanery that WWE does. They don't go into, we're going to open the show with someone talking on the microphone, and then it'll take like 25 minutes before they actually get into the actual wrestling match that they're trying to get into. Provided that WWE stands for World Wrestling Entertainment, they put more emphasis on the entertainment part. That's fine. That's okay once in a while. But whenever you have a burning desire, a passion, rather, something that really burns in your heart, that you can see, damn, I like that. Damn, that was a good match. God damn, I can't get enough of these good matches. Whenever you're sitting there and then you're just watching it and then you're just like, damn, I'd like to be in that ring, I'd just love to maybe pick somebody's brain about what exactly it is that goes on behind the scenes, or how exactly to set up the ring, or talking on commentary about everything that they talk about. This contest, whole entire event, all over the place as far as commentary goes. I mean, they were talking about the dumbest and most irrelevant crap. They were just making jokes toward each other and everything. I didn't even, there were so many jokes I couldn't even write any of them down. I repeat, so many jokes I couldn't even write any of them down, because they were making fun of JR's barbecue and making fun of how stupid something looks. Hey, did you see that guy in the crowd? He was holding up a sign. It said, I love JR's barbecue. They were just poking fun at each other, and it's good to see them having fun, and it's good. Some of the time, like Excalibur would just say something under his breath. It would get caught on the microphone, and then JR would just say something under his breath, and it would get caught on the microphone, and it's hard to keep up with you guys and everything that you're saying. But whenever they were talking about the match, it would always be like, damn, what a clothesline. So it's easy to tell whenever they're taking shots at each other. How did that work out for you, Taz? And then he would say something under his breath. But anyway, I'm done saying stuff under my breath, because whenever you want to hear me say it, it's going to be said live and in color and in person. I'm the Gordon Ramsay of professional wrestling. That's right. I've got a certificate on my wall that proves it. And no, I didn't print it off online. If you want, after this, if you feel pity, you can go and listen to the Dogwater podcast that is the Late Night Wrestling Pod. There's your cheap pop, Brandon. By the way, my name isn't Coco. My name is Mocha. This is the Gut Wrench Podcast, and just because you can't read my name on a piece of paper doesn't mean that you have the right to make fun of it. So, why don't we start this week's event? Now, whenever we open the show, we see Darby Allin, and he's celebrating because apparently he beat, I think they said that he beat Samoa Joe, tonight. Jericho and Excalibur are on commentary with JR and Taz. Or it could have just been Jericho, Excalibur, and JR, but I'm pretty sure that I heard Taz somewhere. So they open up after Rampage whenever Samoa Joe got apparently beat by Darby Allin for the TNT Championship on Rampage. And let's get to the event underway. No holds barred. The AEW World Tag Team Championships as Platinum Max Caster and the acclaimed Platinum Max Caster and Anthony Bowens versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. The Tag Team Championships are on the line. It's obviously going to be the Acclaimed who wins here. Even before the match begins, I know that because they are not only the champions, and this is not only a strong way to book them, but what else is new? Think about the fact that, like, Jarrett and Lethal, they're not even, like, they're just there to put over the younger Acclaimed. And I don't even think that Double J and Lethal are actually a team. They just hang out for the first time to fuel the Acclaim's winning. Why is Billy Gunn a manager for the Acclaimed? He should literally be doing things for Colton and the Gun Club. In this way, it feels like he's not backing his own team that much. A passionate crowd, too. Oh my God, these people were, like, all on their feet, and they were all, like, just cheering and chanting, and they were not, even after, like, that Friday's, because keep in mind, Battle of the Belts happened directly after their regularly scheduled program, which is Rampage, if I remember correctly. It happens on Friday. He's not backing his own team that much. Passionate crowd tonight from the people in attendance. The Wednesday before the Battle of the Belts, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal tried to secure a victory by cheating, but the referee caught them before they could get started in cheating, before they could even get away with it. So the referee caught them cheating, restarted the match, and upon restarting the contest, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster of the Acclaimed won their championship belts back. Okay, so Platinum Max Caster, obviously, we all know what he's going to do. Every time that he comes out, yo, you trying to be Acclaimed? And he always does this. He always rips on his opponents before the matches, especially title matches and stuff like that. He's somewhat of a top dollar. If not, he's a discount John Cena, basic thugonomics, you know, back whenever Cena was feuding with Kevin Federline. He comes out with a microphone and he says, "You a stain on the business, man. I mean, Jeff Jarrett is worse than Vince McMahon." And Lethal is not as essential. He thinks you're chewing on Sanjay's pencil. So whenever they come out with these two guys, Sanjay Dutt and another Dutt brother, but I cannot for the life of me pronounce his name. But he's some big, Great Khali looking guy. Not to sound racist or anything, not all Indians or all Asian people look alike. And that's not what I'm saying at all. Jay Lethal, he says, and Lethal is non-essential. He thinks you're chewing on Sanjay's pencil. So whenever he comes out too, he's got this pencil behind his ear, and it's the funniest thing in the world. I don't know why. He's always got this pencil, but I'm going to assume it's something like, whenever Umaga had this, El Estrade, El Handre, El Strada, or whatever, back whenever Umaga was like a thing, back in 2004, 2005, 2006, he used to have this manager, Umaga did, before he passed away. And El Strada was his name or something like that. He was a Cuban guy, hanging out with a Samoan. Can you believe it? Anyway, he used to come out, and every time that he would take a cigar out of his pocket, and then he would say, Umaga! And then he would, break the cigar, and Umaga would usually finish the match after El Strada broke the cigar. I'm going to assume that the pencil serves as the same thing. Maybe one day we'll look at one of Umaga's matches, it's not really worth looking at, honestly, because most of Umaga's matches didn't last but 30 minutes. 30 seconds. Excuse me. 30 minutes. Oh, shit. That's about as long as I would last him with Brandon's wife. Am I right? 30 minutes. Shit. I don't even think she would last that long with me, because I'll be like, she wasn't religious until she met me. I had her up all night screaming, oh God, oh God, oh God. Anyway, Jeff Jarrett is worse than Vince McMahon. And Lethal is non-essential. You're chewing on Sanjay's pencil. And he gets busy. And we gets busy ripping you a new hole here in Rip City. No holds barred. Basically is what Max Caster came out to say. So inconsistencies automatically show at the start of the match. So right off the bat, the start of the match, it starts and everybody's, Lethal's got Bowens, I think, and Max Caster is fighting Jeff Jarrett, and they're both fighting like outside the ring, a little bit. Lethal's got Bowens in the if I remember correctly, it was the figure four. And Bowens in the figure four, he has to find a way to get down the ring ramp. And of course, he uses the ring ramp as it's intended to be used, as a ring ramp. And he rolls him about halfway down the ring ramp, which is what I would do to Brandon's mom, I guess. I gotta keep shoving that down people's throats. I would roll her down the ring ramp, like we're going bowling or something. Anyway, it's not important. These cheap pops are eventually. I feel like he's. I don't care what he thinks. Who cares? Has quickly turned into a regular tag team match. So directly after that, they start to throw the rule book back into the window rather than throwing it out. It's almost like they took the rule book, threw it out of the window, realized what they did, and then went outside, grabbed the rule book, and then, took it back in the house. And then they said, okay, now it's a regular tag team match after we just got done saying it's a falls count anywhere, or a no holds barred. And I'm putting that in air quotes, by the way, in case you can't tell. Like some people. But the beginning of the match has all four competitors fighting per each team. So much action that it was hard to keep up with. As the match progressed, on the other hand, we got a little over a minute in to the actual wrestling contest, and it seems to be nothing more than just a regular tag team competition, a regular tag team match where, they have to actually tag each other in. The end of the match, though, sees one of the Dutt brothers ended up getting involved after a ref bump. And Jeff Jarrett confused as to who to hit, who do I hit? Then one of the Dutt brothers comes in with, it's like a guitar, and he's gonna hit someone upside the head with it, and then he gets the guitar stolen from him, and then he gets hit with it. After he gets what they call El Kabonked, he's in the corner, the Dutt brother is, and then he's kind of like, oh no, I just been hurt, but he's selling it like really poorly. If anything, go to the ground, go get in the fetal position, which is what I put Brandon's mom in before we have sex. Anyway, back to what I was saying. He gets hit with a guitar, and he stays in the corner, and upon staying in the corner, and then he's all dazed and confused, and he don't know where he's at, and he keeps checking his head for blood, but there seems to be no blood no matter how many times that he's checking, and he's checking like 5 fucking times. And so somebody's clearly missing their cue here, and I'm not sure who it is. After the ref bump, though, they take the shirt off the referee, and then they put it on the other Dutt brother who hasn't been hit with a guitar, Sanjay. So Sanjay's got this pencil right here behind his ear, and you'll never guess what happens. Aubrey Edwards comes in, and she yanks Sanjay Dutt out of the ring, and then he says, I'm the official, you're out of here, and he's not the official. It's funny because he's actually telling a referee to get out of here. I'm sorry. It was the funniest shit that I'd seen. This is what you call entertainment, people. I hope to God that my laughter is contagious right now. Because he's trying to tell the referee to get out. And this man only has a referee t-shirt. Oh God, I'm gonna cry. Anyway, she goes ahead, she grabs his pencil, and then she breaks it over her knee, and then she tells him to get out of here, and then he does. He's just like, oh man, my pencil's gone, and now they got nothing to do, and he just leaves, and she ends up counting the 1, 2, 3 for the victory for the Acclaimed. It's the funniest wrestling match you'll ever see. I mean, comedy ensues. Let's just put it that way. Wow. Who knew that breaking someone's pencil, that just sends them into a... Damn it! Now I gotta go get another pencil. I'm done. Okay, so eventually they do the, oh, scissor me daddy ass type thing, and, they end up hitting their finishing maneuver, which I'm really not sure what it's called. A chants echo of the arena as the Acclaimed appear to be over in a big way. JR and Jericho make fun of Excalibur and call him not an idiot, but a, quote, dumb idiot. I'm pretty sure they were supposed to say stupid idiot. By the way, that was put in air quotes too. Not only the dumb idiot part, but also the stupid idiot. JR meant to say stupid idiot, I'm sure. A JBL-like clothesline from Anthony Bowens to Lethal, turning him inside out. He does like a flip. I mean it. I don't know why I have to say I mean it. Like, oh yeah, I'm not joking here. I'm absolutely meaning it. Like, take my word for it. things start to break down. As they remember, it's a no-holds-barred contest, no disqualification match. For some reason, they have to be reminded that this is not an exhibition tag team match. After the ref bump, someone comes down to count the 3. Anthony Bowens only gets the 2 count, but gets involved. I don't think he missed his cue. Billy Gunn, I think he missed his cue. Billy Gunn spends far too much time in the ring just standing there for seemingly no reason. And then after stealing the guitar from Double J, he gets kabonked or clocked. But the Dutt brother, not Double J, Jericho once again says dumb idiot. I'm pretty sure he meant to say stupid idiot. But once again, everything that I just said, other than, I had to look at my notes again. I'm not sure who had the guitar. I'm pretty sure it was Billy Gunn, and then the Dutt brothers stole it, and then the Acclaim end up El Kabonking one of the Dutt brothers, and then the hilarity ensues as Aubrey Edwards comes to the ring, and she takes over the match. After she does, Jericho says, "What? She can't do that. That's illegal. Lock her up. I dare you to go lock her up, Jericho." And I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. If I can find that goddamn rating. Yes, 3.5 out of 5. Was a very entertaining match. As you can see, I'm in tears right now. It was very inconsistent, having any rules except when it's convenient for us to have rules. things they had going. Alright, so I already talked about the merchandise plug. I already talked about the new clothing line. Yes, I'm writing a book, believe it or not. The Dog Water Early Morning Podcast show. I'm sure that he's doing just great over there, just having one platform to commend his audience on, aside from maybe Twitter. He said that he started an Instagram, but yeah, if he started an Instagram, where's your followers there, buddy? You should start a TikTok, by the way. He did start a Discord server, or at least he did start a Discord. Managing a server is a whole nother ball game. Brandon Surge, it sounds like he's trying to rip off Pokemon with Lieutenant Surge. Talk about your Jericho cries about how illegal it is for Aubrey Edwards to insert herself into the match as an official. Oh, God. It's so illegal for her to do that, huh, Jericho? Max Caster finishing elbow drop is known as the mic drop, which I thought was really funny, because the fact is, Ken Kennedy's finishing move, back whenever Ken Kennedy was actually like a thing, back whenever he was, I guess it would be like, mid 2007, early 2008, maybe mid 2008, back whenever Ken Kennedy was actually a professional wrestler for the WWE, his finishing maneuver was a flatliner, and it was known as the mic check. I had to look over at my notes, and I don't know why. And it was... it took a flatliner, and when CM Punk would do a mic drop, he would call it a pipe bomb. So we've had many different iterations of a mic drop in professional wrestling. If I'm missing one, please let me know, because I don't think that I am. I've been wrong before, though, on at least 4 occasions. So if you're trying to make it 5, let me know. Then every time that I say that I've been wrong, I would have to mention the 5th time that I was wrong. I should say, up until this point in time in history, that way that I don't get tomfoolery later on, from people in the future who possibly become a professional wrestler just to, quote, prove me wrong. These are all of the iterations of a mic drop in professional wrestling. TBS Championship match as champion Jade Cargill versus Sky Blue. Jade is 47-0 losses. I checked the updated on the Twitter, and it looks like she is actually, as of this recording, 52-0. As of this contest that we are looking at, though, she is 47-0. 47 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws. And I've looked at a Sky Blue match before. She's done better, okay? Even though this match went over a certain accumulated amount of time, which usually doesn't happen with Jade Cargill matches. Usually her matches don't last, as JR will tell you in this contest here, no more than 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. See, that's a good thing because that means that she's a very strong competitor who finishes all of her matches, very, very quick. She doesn't need any sort of chauvinistic but if you're a wrestling fan and you look forward to those longer, well-timed main events that are like, oh man, I didn't expect him to kick out again, or oh man, like, wait a minute, he just hit 2 of those finishers, but he still got up, and then you're sitting there on the edge of your seat, you got the adrenaline going, you're taking a deep breath and you're sweating a little bit and you're looking at, possibly your favorite wrestler and you're hoping, praying, because they're representing you in one fashion or another, and especially if you play like DraftKings, how will this person lose or whatever, you're hoping and you're praying that that person is possibly going to pull off the victory, and you're taking those deep breaths and you feel the adrenaline that they feel possibly. Sometimes those matches, those later down the card matches, they really like, wow, that was such a great match. Whereas though that if you're going to watch a squash match, it's like, I'm indifferent to the whole thing. It's she gets over overwhelming entrance. Oh, okay, yeah. She gets the entrance that's like the overbooked entrance. Does Jade Cargill. Sky Blue just gets the entrance music. She gets the smile and look pretty and, wave her hand almost like she's the fucking Queen of England. But Jade Cargill, she gets the rock music. She gets the pyro, the lights change of colors. You can automatically tell who's going to win here. Who did they spend more money on, I think Tony Khan would have more money if maybe he didn't pay for as much pyro. Excalibur calls what looks to be like a Uranagi, a chokeslam from to Sky Blue as Jade takes control of the match in short order. And one of the former baddies ends up showing up in Red Velvet. And Red Velvet staring down the champion as Sky Blue beat the 10 count to the ring because she was outside being counted out. And the same referee, Aubrey Edwards, Jericho keeps calling her crooked because of the last match that just got done happening. He's like, it's probably because of that crooked referee, Aubrey Edwards. He's like, I'd like to go down there and give her a piece of my mind. Why? Why? She didn't do anything. Oh my god. And Red Velvet stares down the champion as Sky Blue beats the 10 count into the ring and stops herself from being counted out. Talk about how you've counted out Brandon Surge. I have. I'm counting to 10 right now, and there's nothing that he can do about it. How many jokes have I made about his mom? I mean, this is middle school, for all I know. You know, that's what we did in middle school. We made fun of people's moms who we didn't much enjoy. We'd just be like, either we would make fun of their mom or their girlfriend. And seeing as though that he doesn't have a girlfriend, he has a wife and a kid. Listen, Brandon, let's talk for a minute, all right? Let me put my hand on your shoulder, just calm down, take a deep breath, maybe. I'll tell you what you do, okay? Here's what you do, all right? You ready? I'm looking you in the eyes, and I'm going to tell you what to do. And you're going to listen, okay? Sorry about that. I thought that my microphone was, for some reason, I thought it was right here. Turns out it's right here. See? Now you can hear me a lot better, right? Yeah, I'm looking you in the eyes. You're looking me in the eyes, okay? Just take a seat, man. Just calm down. I'm gonna poke fun at your mom a little bit, That's what we do in West Virginia. It's how we do it in Texas, Calm down. One of the former baddies ends up showing up in red velvet, staring down the champion as Sky Blue beats the 10 count. Talk about and how you'd had sex with his mom last night. Yeah, your mom couldn't beat the 10 count last night. All right. The whole match, even though I'm not done with it quite yet, as I'm taking these notes, just seems to be a one-sided beatdown. Jade Cargill just punishing Sky Blue, while Red Velvet and Layla Gray watch on. According to JR, the data, according to JR, has statistics say that Jade Cargill has 22 wins in 5 minutes or less. In one way, that does make her look strong, and as I said, I've already talked about that, and I could make another Yo Mama joke and say that 22 times out of 47 times, 48 times, I've had sex with Brandon's mom, and she didn't last 5 minutes. That's almost half. That's almost half the time that she didn't last 5 minutes. If Jade can only last 5 minutes in the matches, it makes her look strong in putting away her opponents fast, even though that makes her look strong in professional wrestling is not a sprint. In some cases, it's a marathon. And having matches being booked that sometimes are over 20 or 30 minutes, I mean, I've already went over this. I'm not really sure why. If you care about like Dave Meltzer or anything that he has to say, anything that Brian Alvarez has to say or anything like that, like the Wrestling Observer, if you care about anything that he has to say, then, these 5 minute, 6 minute matches, those ain't going to do shit for your wrestling promotion. Let's be honest. They're not going to make your champion look strong. They're not going to do anything like that. What that's going to do is that's basically going to cripple the division that your champion is in. But anyway, Sky Blue puts up quite a fight. As a matter of fact, she does this one spot that's really, really talented. Somehow she defies physics. She goes from a vertical standing position to a horizontal. She does what's called a code blue, which I'm not really sure whether or not it's called the code blue or whether or not she calls it the code blue, because I'm almost certain that the actual move is called the code red. But I could be wrong. But if I'm colorblind and it's called the code blue and I'm calling it the code red, then maybe I need to go get some glasses. Shit. Sky Blue defies the laws of physics somehow and goes from a horizontal position to a vertical position. I know it really sounds strange, but that's because it really is strange. She does a code blue off of an Irish whip while Jade Cargill is standing upright. little bit, I'm a little bit conflicted on the first half of the match. Oh yeah, on the rating. So the rating of this match, I'm a little bit conflicted too because of the fact that first half of the match, first 12 minutes, 15 minutes of this match, just sees Jade Cargill beating the fucking hell out of Sky Blue. And then finally Sky Blue shows some fight. Like the last 5 minutes. Much like Brandon Surge's mom showed some fight last night. Do you understand now? Much like Kevin Owens' mom showed some fight last night, you know. Oh shit. Had sex with them both at the same time. But I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. As we see Jade Cargill pull off a great victory. And now it's time for the main event. Yes, I know. This is only a 3-card match. And like I said, I wanted to look at what happened before this, like the Samoa Joe Darby Allin match. I wanted to look at that. I wasn't able to because my computer wouldn't download it. I'm not sure why. I'm not really going to, like, I can't get mad at it, even though I can. You know, I can. It's not going to solve anything. I will be getting a new computer soon, so I'm not worried about it. I'll be getting a clothing line soon. Fucking Red Rose clothing. I want to see Brandon compete with that, you know? Why doesn't he have a clothing article? Hey, Serge, pay attention to me. I got a question to ask you. Like I said, I'm going to put my hand on your shoulder again. I'm going to go ahead and look you in the eyes, and I'm going to ask you something that CM Punk asked John Cena. Do I have your attention now? Well, technically, he said, do I have everybody's attention now? And the edit that they did on that episode of Monday Night Raw, after he said that and dropped that proverbial pipe bomb, the edit was so good. Because whenever he said it in the edit, it went like this. Do I have everybody's attention now? Now. And then I was just like, okay, I guess it's one way to get somebody's attention. And Jade Cargill's finishing maneuver looks similar to Beth Phoenix's finishing maneuver. Called the Glam Slam is what Beth Phoenix calls it, but I'm not really sure what Jade Cargill calls it. And now it's time for the main event, as the All-Atlantic Championship is up for grabs. I feel like that this is like their answer to, like, you know, the WWE's old, not undisputed, not intercontinental, probably their European Championship, because this is the All-Atlantic Championship. I feel like if Tony Khan was smart, he would start another division of AEW, and it would be called AEW UK, and then he would start it over in the UK, and he would just see where it goes, you know. Jericho, like, people like that, they fund Tony Khan's company, you know. Like, Jericho probably takes some of his money, and he probably puts it into the company, and he probably gets it back, you know. And in case you don't know, Chris Jericho is a executive producer of the show. So he's more than just, you know, hey, I'm going to commentate this week. I'm going to do whatever it is that, you know, he picks and chooses his own slots. And basically, if you don't understand something, like the Jericho Appreciation Society, a lot of people hate on them. Jericho doesn't care whether you hate on them or not. It's not the least interesting part of the show or anything. It's something where Jericho can actually find talent and be close with them, and then, like, get them, more TV time, get them more production. But the All Atlantic Championship is on the line as champion Orange Cassidy faces off against Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian's getting under the skin of Orange Cassidy, and Cassidy has been showing uncharacteristically types of behavior where he has been getting more and more aggressive. And usually Orange Cassidy isn't like the guy who gets aggressive. Let's be honest, he's like the guy who shows up, he puts his hands in his pockets, and then he's like, "What's up, bro? How are you?" He's like one of those guys. Nothing gets under Orange Cassidy's skin. I mean, let's be honest. So for Kip Sabian to be able to do that, he must be doing something. I don't know how to put it. Like every time that I've seen Cassidy, he's always been like this laid back, almost like stoner in a way. Small things that Kip Sabian does, perhaps, it's getting into the head of Orange Cassidy, and that's exactly what Excalibur keeps saying. He's also driven a wedge between Cassidy, Trent Beretta, of the Best Friends, something that Jericho and Excalibur say that they thought was impossible. They thought it was impossible to drive a wedge between Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta, or Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor. I cannot tell you, but it's basically a 3-man group known as the Best Friends. But any 2 combinations can be known as just friends, I think. If I'm right, it's like Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor are known as just friends, and any combination of Beretta and Cassidy are known as the Best Friends. Could be wrong. I don't watch AEW that much. That much. Who am I, Scooby-Doo? Trent Beretta, the Best Friends. Something Jericho and Excalibur say they thought was impossible, to drive a wedge between Cassidy and Beretta. Something that I noticed that is uncharacteristic of any professional wrestler. But I guess this is what sets Cassidy apart from everybody else. Whenever he comes to the ring, he holds his championship in that he's supposed to be displaying on his shoulder, or for that matter, on his waist. He puts his championship in a almost like plastic bag of some sort, except he puts it in a backpack. Almost like putting your title in a burlap sack and dragging it to the wrestling ring. Yeah, it's not like tradition or anything, but it's just uncharacteristic of most professional wrestlers. I would have to answer a lot of unnecessary questions if I was to, so if I was to say something like, Cassidy can't do that, he shouldn't be doing that, putting his title in a backpack, I would have to answer a lot of unnecessary questions from people who are like, and why can't he do that, so I would prefer not to say anything about why he can or cannot do that. Orange Cassidy is his own person, and he should be able to do as he pleases to do. And as much as it is uncharacteristic of a professional wrestler to be putting your championship belt that you would prefer to be, gleaming over your shoulder or on your waist side, I'm not going to tell Orange Cassidy what to do. And honestly, Cassidy does a lot of things that are uncharacteristic of a professional wrestler, such as putting his hands in his pocket before he goes to the Irish whip. So that way, if anybody knocks his head off, he's only got himself to blame. But luckily, he's been pretty, consistent with fucking ducking and dodging and weaving and going under their feet before they do like a drop kick or anything like that. Understand, people, you're in a wrestling ring. Keep your hands up at all all times. Usually a referee would admonish you for not putting your hands up. And for that matter, don't wear sunglasses in a wrestling ring. This man wears sunglasses in a wrestling ring. I can't make this shit up. And a lot of people think, and it might come off that way, that Orange Cassidy is nothing more than generic. But in a way, he makes take his entrance, for example. Whenever they, The Undertaker, for instance, weighing 255 pounds from Death Valley. The Undertaker. You want to know where Orange Cassidy is from? Wherever. You want to know how much that he weighs? However. Or whatever. Yeah, that's what it is. So, if you take Orange Cassidy so seriously that you don't understand his character, come on. You can't do that, okay? I'm sorry. You just can't. Cassidy doesn't take himself seriously. Why should you take him so seriously? But he is a good... I'm not sure whether he's a heel or a face. I would say that he's a face because Kip Sabian is getting under his skin here. Kip Sabian does a spot that's usually reserved for the best friends and just friends in Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy, or Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor. Usually do a spot where the camera pans out, showing a shot of the entire arena, and Sabian is being hugged by two beautiful girls, Penelope Ford and the Bunny. Usually the spot is done when and or before Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta are going for a tope suicida, or before they do that, they'll get in the ring, right? And Beretta and Taylor will hug each other. And then while they're hugging each other, the camera pans out and the crowd goes, "Whoa!" it's I don't know. It's a little bit funny. Oh man. Tope suicida to Saban after Danhausen puts a curse on him. Danhausen followed Orange Cassidy to the ring, and when he did, he was threatening to put a curse on Kip Sabian after he did the spot that's usually reserved for best friends. And Hausen was like pointing at him, and then Sabian was like, no. I swear to God. He's like, I swear you can't make this shit up. If this were, and I mean typically, and I mean essentially 90s WWE, there would have been a lot of interference in a lot of their matches that they would have had tonight. Kip Sabian continues to mock Orange Cassidy, much like that Dogwater podcast Brandon Surge has, the early morning podcast, the late night wrestling pod. Like, he acts like that's the greatest thing in the world. Continues to mock me by calling me Coco. Thank you. It's become extremely abundant that you cannot read. And neither can your mom. Mock his mannerisms and the things that he does to make his character in one way or another different than your typical professional wrestler. And that's what Kip Sabian keeps doing. He keeps mocking Orange Cassidy's character. He keeps mocking Orange Cassidy as a individual, I suppose you could say. But the things that Cassidy does is he'll put his hands, like I said before, in his pants, or for that matter, he'll just do things that aren't typical for a professional wrestler to be doing. But Kip Sabian is mocking Cassidy. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a beautiful contest between two men, and it told a great story, and they both talked and it conveyed to the audience. And that's the end of the show. That's the end of the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you all so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Sayonara. What was that? Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I had someone off frame here tell me that I should have blew up Brandon Surge's house. I don't really believe in doing anything like that. I mean, he hasn't really committed any crimes. He's just... Sorry about that. Someone, as you know, I live basically beside of the living room, and I don't want anyone to hear me as I'm speaking into my microphone. Seems a little unnecessary to have to explain this every time that it happens. But I don't want them to think that I'm talking to them, even though I'm talking into a microphone, because I live basically beside of my living room, with nothing but a curtain put up so that they can't see what exactly it is that I'm doing. Anyway, why would I want to do that? That doesn't make any sense. Blowing up someone's house. I mean, he just can't read, that's all. He doesn't know what... He thinks that the letters C-O, Coco, which, by the way, is Crash Bandicoot's sister. He thinks that spells M-O-C-O. No, that can't be right. M-O-C-H-O. No, that can't be right either. I'm starting to think that he just rubbed off on me, because now I can't spell mocha, I guess I'll just spell it the easy way, like I spell it on Instagram. MOKA_CPR. Follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already followed me on Instagram, what are you waiting for? I should do that one again. What are you waiting for? Love me like you do. Love me. Okay, I'm done. But thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gut Wrench Podcast. My name is Mocha. And that's a wrap. There's been enough stick in this episode. I'm not going to do the whole thing. That's a wrap. And good night, everybody.